Now, there's a phrase that says you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And guess what? Those six Democrats, four in Congress, two in the Senate, that decided that they were going to make this video and they were going to call on the troops to say, hey, you could defy any orders that you feel are illegal, as if the president has been giving out illegal orders. And since that has happened, you see what they thought? They were going to make this video and everybody was going to say, right on, look at them doing it right. Nope, the backlash they've caught hasn't only been from Republicans. It's been from Democrats, especially from veterans and service members who know exactly what it is that they're implying. And see, Alyssa Slotkin, the senator from Michigan, she's former CIA. That's cool, you know, and she worked counterintelligence. She knows exactly what she was doing. She was utilizing the same tactics that they use in certain CIA operations. So this video was just supposed to have been like, yes, it's just informative, but it's the implications that matter. Implying as if you being ordered to go out as the National Guard to help remove illegal aliens is somehow illegal because you don't feel like you want to get illegals out the country. Doesn't matter what you feel. That is a legal and lawful order to remove people who are within our country illegally. Or with the strikes on the Venezuelan drug boats. You may feel like, oh man, you know, there's people on those boats. We would hate to see them lose their life. Yeah. But at the same time, they've got 100 bricks of fentanyl or whatever is on those boats coming over here. And the order was to strike. And they're listed as a terrorist organization. So what it does is when they start implying these things, the soldiers start second guessing. And do you know how many lives have been lost by soldiers who second guess themselves or second guess the mission? A lot. As a matter of fact, I saw one gentleman who's on Newsmax who said that during strikes in 2013, where they brought back a captive alive, they were almost court-martialed because certain Democrats in Congress felt like they roughed the individual up, even though there was a dead or alive order on the individual. They brought him back alive so they could get information to help the mission. They were almost court-martialed and thrown in prison.
Our military is not pawns. We're not in some game. This is deeply personal to me. This is the story of my platoon that got stuck. I mean, we got stuck in the middle of a political game just like this. Almost got us killed, thrown in the brig, facing charges. At one point, the U.S. military considered turning us over, U.S. soldiers, over to the Iraqi court system so they could prosecute us where we'd likely be hung ourselves. Oh, you didn't hear about this story. Hold my beer. It's in this book. This is the story of how stupid political clickbait videos like Slotkin's have real consequences. You remember this guy from the movie American Sniper? This guy right here that was going around drilling holes in children's faces. In 2009, my platoon caught that guy in real life, the Butcher of Fallujah. He was also the man responsible for hanging 4 American contractors, one of which was a SEAL brother of mine, whose body was lit on fire, dangling from a bridge by his neck. My team caught that guy. We were authorized to use lethal force, and we exercised restraint to bring him back alive for the betterment of the mission, because we were one part. And we did it at great risk to ourselves. And because of orders, so he could be questioned by the CIA and save more lives. Imagine if we had violated that order. After all, we knew he killed one of our own, and he had a gun when we apprehended him. So, honestly, like, Democrats, don't ever, ever lecture me and my people on restraint and decorum. And when we brought him back, the same people who sent us on that mission, they turned around and court-martialed us for abusing him in custody, which we clearly did not do, which was proven by our full acquittals almost immediately in a courtroom, all because politicians wanted to have the talking point that they stood with the Iraqi people over their own soldiers. And the generals, whose promotions need to be approved by the Senate, people by like Mark Kelly and Alyssa Slotkin, they bent the knee and they sacrificed me and my team at the altar of their political correctness. And you know what it did? It made every soldier in Iraq and Afghanistan second guess everything. Hesitate to prosecute that IED. How many people did that kill? Apprehending terrorists, or even pulling the trigger when they needed to. Hesitated for their own safety in a courtroom that might not come. Stuff like this gets people killed. It creates stupid rules of engagement, some of which killed my friends personally, because they want to play political grandstand games with no intention of ever backing the soldier up when he does the bidding that they subtly encouraged. This is why people hate politicians. They pop off like there's some moral authority without listing a single specific thing that Trump has done illegally.
Now, as you see here in this article now, I'm going to give you some clips in this video to show you what's really going on, because Mark Kelly never expected what's happening now to happen to him. And I'm happy it is. This is an example. And Pete Hegseth in the Pentagon, they are not playing. So as you see right here, the Pentagon threatens to prosecute Senator Mark Kelly by recalling him to Navy service and court-martialing him. I'm going to read a little bit of this article, and then I'm going to get into the video clips. The Pentagon yesterday threatened to recall U.S. Senator Mark Kelly, a retired Navy captain, to active duty status in order to prosecute him after what it describes as seditious behavior by the former astronaut and decorated veteran. Kelly, who denies any wrongdoing and who said in a statement he would not be intimidated, joined 5 other Democrats in Congress with backgrounds in the U.S. military and intelligence community to urge U.S. troops to refuse any illegal orders. Now, the reason why the other 5 aren't brought up, because Mark Kelly, as being a Navy captain, even though he's retired, he could still be recalled to active duty. The other ones, by Slotkin being CIA, and the other 5 no longer being in active duty or in, like, you know, they're not captains or anything like that. They fall outside of the United States military justice. But Mark Kelly, he falls right in, and they're going to look to make an example out of him. Now, let's be reminded, this is Mark Kelly, who ran to the Democrat safe place, which is MSDNC. Excuse me, right now is MS World or BS World. And this is where they go to cop their pleas. Now, this is after they made the video. This is after he was talking big. Listen to him copping pleas, even injects his wife. That's what type of POS this man is. And then after this, I'm going to follow it up from what Bill O'Reilly, what the White House had to say, and what's really going on with the court martial. But check this clip out first. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, a donation. You hitting that like button is more than enough. It really helps. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And once you do, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. YouTube has issues with notifications, but when you select all on the notifications, YouTube will make sure that you get notified when I upload new videos.
I hear you when you say that it is absurd and that it is almost comical, but also that it is intended to be intimidating. I do just have to ask you at a human level, Senator, you and your family have dealt with more than your fair share of sacrifice for this country and trial and tribulation. I just have to ask, even though I hear you when you say you're not intimidated, this must be a source of stress for you and your family. I just have to ask the kind of impact that it's having on you and your loved ones.
Rachel, I've had a missile blow up next to my airplane. I've been shot down, nearly shot down multiple times. I've flown a rocket ship into space 4 times, built by the lowest bidder. And my wife, Gabby Giffords, meeting with her constituents, shot in the head, 6 people killed around her. A horrific thing. She spent 6 months in the hospital. We know what political violence is, and we know what causes it too. You know, the statements that Donald Trump made is insightful, incites others. He's got millions of supporters. People listen to what he says more so than anybody else in the country. And he should be careful with his words. But I'm not going to be silenced here. Is it stressful? I've been stressed by, you know, things more important than Donald Trump trying to intimidate me into shutting my mouth and not doing my job. He didn't like what I said. I'm going to show up for work every day, support the Constitution, do my job, hold this administration accountable, hold this president accountable when he is out of line. That's the responsibility of every U.S. senator and every member of Congress. He's not going to silence us.
Wrong, sir. You are not in a position of power where you are going to hold the president accountable. Now, Congress can have certain, certain barriers and parameters, but you're not over the president. But you see, it's that type of attitude. And now he's going, President Trump needs to watch what he says. But notice he doesn't say he needs to watch what he says. You also notice that he said his wife was shot in the head. Now, do you think that was by a MAGA or a Republican? No, that was by another left-wing deranged radical that was upset about something. And those people got hurt, but he won't point that out. But if it had been a MAGA person, oh my God. And in another video he did, he had the nerve to invoke Charlie Kirk's name. As you know, hey, we got political violence. Look at what happened to Charlie Kirk. Even though him and his friends allegedly with him, because I can't say I saw any specific post from him, but I know for a fact other members of Congress in the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crotchett and others, not to mention the other Looney Tunes just across the whole country that are on that left-hand side, they were celebrating and dancing, and a lot of them FA and FO. They were getting fired from their jobs. They were getting doxxed, all types of stuff. No violence. But it's like you have a right to say what you want to say. Like they always want to say free speech, but you have to deal with the consequences from that. Now, let's also remember that these people are opportunists, because here's the text message that comes out from Mark Kelly to raise money. This is what this was all about. They were just trying to show their radical part of the base that they're tough against Donald Trump and then use it to raise money. Donald Trump just called for Mark Kelly's execution. lie, never happened. We both know that that never happened. But look how they lied. And they thought this was only going to go to their base. But we got a copy of it. Yes, you read that right. More to come soon. But we need a surge of donations as soon as possible so we have the resources we're going to need to stand against Trump and the threats coming our way from him and his administration. No, y'all were just asking for money because that's what weak and sleazy politicians do. And let's not forget something. They always begging the regular folks for money. Why don't they just call their best friend to get it? This is Alyssa Slotkin with Alex Soros, George Soros' son. And of course, this is the slimeball Mark Kelly, who, let me say, I'm appreciative for his military service. This has nothing to do with the service or his trips to space. This has everything to do with what he's doing right now, suffering from Trump derangement. The Democrats went and snatched this guy. He wasn't into politics. They went and snatched this guy because they know he would do everything they told him to do. He would toe the party line. As a matter of fact, the funny thing about him, make sure you do research on the China, on the balloon, the spy balloon company that he created linked with China. Now, what type of loyalty does he have to America when he literally has a spy balloon company with China? But he wants to lecture our president on how he needs to conduct himself. And since he wanted to say the president called for his execution, was that the truth? Or is this the truth? The truth is the president just quoted what the actual law says. Military law, Uniform Code of Military Justice, the UCMJ. And with all the fraud going on with the Democrat Party, with the Somalians trying to take care of illegal immigrants, seniors, I want to make sure that you get taken care of. And that's why I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video and partner of the channel, Chapter. Chapter has been helping seniors like yourself get protected and make sure that they have the best Medicare plans available. Wouldn't it suck to look up in a few months and find out that your prescriptions aren't covered or your doctor is no longer in network? Well, right now is open enrollment, and Chapter has highly skilled, unbiased professionals that take the time in less than 20 minutes of a phone call, which is absolutely free. They can make sure you've got the best Medicare plan available. And the great news about it, they've been saving seniors as much as $1,100 a year that stays in their pocket. You know what to do with that money much better than giving it off to somebody else. So take the time out rather than wait. Call Chapter. Make sure you've got the best Medicare plan available and protect your health and your family. You can call the number right there on the screen or visit the website at askchapter.org/realpolitics. Sedition occurs when a service member, in concert with others, creates revolt, violence, or disturbance against lawful civil authority with the intent to overthrow or destroy it. It is punishable by death or other punishment as determined by a court martial. So they're taking the president quoting fact of what really it says and say, oh, he called for the executions. They were even saying, oh, he called for people to be hanged. President Trump never posted that. Somebody else said that George Washington would have had treasonous people hanged. And somebody else pointed that. As a matter of fact, the last time that Democrats were hanged for treason was right here during the execution when Lincoln was assassinated. And this is the execution of the Lincoln coup d'etat conspirators in 1865. That's all of their bodies hanging right there. And as it says, this is what happened the last time the Democrats attempted a coup d'etat after losing a war and an election. The punishment is still the same. I love that image, not for the sake of the people that are there hanging, but for what it represents. The Democrats are doing the same thing. They tried to take out our leader, who just so happens to be extremely good at what he's doing. And they were tracking the promises that President Trump made. It was 16 of them. Do you know that he's accomplished 12 of the 16 things he promised us coming into office? But the Democrats want you to believe that the president isn't doing well. But I beg to differ. Check this clip out of this report that CNN just did. They just put this out yesterday. This had Democrats losing their mind after all of the lies they've been telling. Check this out. And then we're going to get back into it so you can hear about the court martial for Mark Kelly. Check this out.
So is the president losing Republicans?
No. Look, this is still Donald Trump's Republican Party, and we can see it here. It's like a rock, to quote Bob Seger. I mean, take a look here. Republicans who approve of Trump. 6 months ago, it was 87%. Now, well, hello, it's the same number. It's 87%. He has not lost any support among Republicans compared to 6 months ago. As I said at the beginning, he's like a rock. He's like a rock. The Republican base is sticking by Donald Trump at this point in time.
It really is interesting to watch his overall approval rating go down, 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 but see this be completely constant here.
It is among independents. It is not among Republicans.
Okay.
Now, I'm sorry, but you see how he had to interject that? Hey, it's amazing to see it going down, 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 and down. Ain't no down, 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 and down. The Democrat Party is way worse. And of course, some of those demon rats are going to support him. And even the drop among independents is not as bad as they want to make it seem. But he's a Democrat shield that had to do that. I apologize, but I can't just let him say that and get away with it.
So how does this compare to past presidents in a second term?
Yeah, okay. I think this gives the game away, right? Which is Donald Trump. If you look at 21st century presidents, own party approval at this point in term 2, who leads the pack? It's Donald John Trump. 87% of Republicans approved Donald John Trump. You go back to 2013, 78% of Democrats supported Barack Obama, and it was 78% of Republicans who supported George W. Bush back in 2005 at this point. So Donald Trump has the biggest highest own party approval of any president who served their entire second term in the 21st century.
You could look at this one of two ways. You could say, obviously, he's doing way better than past presidents. Or you could say, there is still room to settle. If there is a reversion to the mean here, if that does fall further, that could chip into his overall approval rating. Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene, resigning from Congress in January. One of the concerns is that Donald Trump backed someone in a primary against her. How has Donald Trump done in his congressional endorsements?
You know, when you go up against Donald Trump, you're going up.
And they go into that clip and they pointed out President Trump has a 96% success rate when he backs a candidate. So Marjorie Taylor Greene knew he wasn't endorsing her. He was going to run somebody against her and she was going to get smoked. Now, we're talking about all this stuff with the Democrats saying don't defy illegal orders. Do you know what happened the last time? And this woman from the military, Jennifer Ruth Green, she pointed something out. I just want to point out that the thousands of service members who refused the illegal order from Joe Biden that forced them to get the vaccine were fired without their benefits, and the Democrats were perfectly okay with it. She's telling the fact. Let's not forget when this happened here. Marines kicked out 206 troops over refusing the jab. They refused it and were let go. And this article is from December the 30th of 2021. So when they talk about defying illegal orders, they don't walk it like they talk it. Now, check out what Bill O'Reilly had to say on News Nation. You know, Bill, he's always good for some commentary. Check this out.
I think the whole thing is contrived. I'm disappointed with Senator Kelly. I think that he made a huge mistake by getting involved with this ridiculous charade. You don't, if you're a responsible legislator, you don't make things up. So if you don't have an illegal order, then why are you talking about an illegal order? For what? What is the reason? There's only one: to embarrass Trump, to whip up hatred against Trump. That's why they did it. Of course. I guess they didn't have anything else to do on Monday. I don't know. But why would Kelly, who has a distinguished record, both in the military and in Congress, why would he be part of it? What's the upside? And then when all hell breaks loose, oh, you weren't expecting that backlash? I think the whole thing is contrived.
So, even Bill O'Reilly is pointing out the ignorance and the stupidity behind the whole thing. And now here's the code that he is in violation of. It is 18 USC Code 2387. Activities affecting armed forces generally criminalizes knowingly advising, counseling, or using or urging any member of the U.S. military to disobey, desert, or refuse lawful orders with the intent to interfere with military operations or loyalty. Penalty up to 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. They are not playing with this. And if they could have took it to every last one of those other members that was involved with it, they would. Now, this here is from CBS. I did that on purpose because, you know, if we went through the conservative outlets, of course, they were going to tell it like it is. But I want to show you just how severe it is, where even the lamestream media, the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party, can't shy away from the truth with this. Even though they try to trickle a little bit of their propaganda in there, they can't. It's cut and dry. People did not agree with this, right and the left. They overstepped their bounds. They thought that they were going to be received well, and they've been blasted. So what has this done? Guarantee you nobody else is going to come out and do this. But check this clip out.
The Pentagon says it will investigate Democratic Senator Mark Kelly after he joined a handful of other lawmakers in a video calling for U.S. troops to refuse unlawful orders. Now, in a statement, the Arizona Democrat said he found out about the investigation from social media, writing in part, quote, "If this is meant to intimidate me and other members of Congress from doing our jobs and holding this administration accountable, it won't work." That sentiment shared by Kelly's fellow Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego. He shared a passionate video reacting to the news on social media earlier today.
This is insane. We should all point out how saying this is. Mark Kelly's a patriot. There's no reason why they're going after him. He was doing his duty and just reminding people about their rights as service members. And, you know, Secretary Hegseth, all these guys, you're not going to be able to scare us. We have a right to defend the Constitution of the United States. We have a right to tell other service members that they have a right to ignore illegal orders, and you're not going to be able to intimidate us.
Is that legal for him to be driving and filming and recording himself right then? Is that even safe? Do you see that? That's how deranged he is. He felt like he had to get that message out so bad. And it looks like he's really looking into the camera rather than the road. I had to point that out.
All right, for more on this, let's bring in CBS News congressional reporter Torian Small. Torian, great to be with you. There are 6 other people in this video. Why is Mark Kelly being singled out?
Well, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Liz, says that he is singling out Senator Kelly because he is within his jurisdiction as a former Navy captain. He says that that post that he's seen from those 6 Democrats, in his words, are despicable, disgraceful, and also false. And he believes it could amount to potential crime being committed once this investigation is underway. Like we mentioned at the top of the segment, Kelly found out through social media. He said that this is absolutely ridiculous that he's being targeted. And again, he sees this as an intimidation tactic, saying that he's willing to fight back and won't be silenced by the Trump administration over it.
And Torian, we just heard Senator Gallego's fiery reaction to all of this. What are you hearing on the Hill today?
Yeah, lawmakers are recessed this week for the holiday, but we know as the reactions will come in. Of course, we saw Gallego's response in defense of Senator Kelly. We know that also Senator Kelly's wife, Gabby Gifford, put out a post saying that she stands by her husband. He's a patriot in her mind, and she is absolutely standing by him as he's under attack in her mind from the Trump administration. This comes after the president himself called out those 6 lawmakers, saying that what they've done in that video amounts to sedition, in his words, in a post to his social media site last week, saying a crime, sedition, punishable by death. We've asked the White House press secretary about whether or not the president is advocating for the execution or the jailing of Democrats. She said that the attention should be rather focused on the video itself. And I want to make it clear, all 6 Democrats in that video said that they believe military troops, military members should not obey unlawful orders. The Trump administration is casting a more brighter paintbrush, saying that they believe that they're telling the men and women of the armed services to act against the orders of the president of the United States, Liz.
Torian Small, thank you so much.
And we know that's exactly what they were doing. We know it. Ain't it funny how Democrats do that? They like to throw stones and then hide their hands and cry victim. They do that over and over and over. But when service military men and women were refusing to jab for religious preferences because they didn't trust it, nobody cared about them defying those orders and standing behind them. They were celebrating them getting booted out. Remember that? It's like these folks are insane. Charlie Kirk loses his life. They dancing in the streets. But the freaking the tide turns against Democrats, and they're getting death threats over the phone. Nobody's shooting at them. And, oh, my God, we got to tone the violence down. But when they were lighting Teslas on fire and lighting up Tesla dealerships and taking shots at the president and beating up Doge members, Democrats are perfectly fine with that. It's just like online. They can spew all the hateful stuff. But once the backlash comes, they like to cry or turn their comments off like Bill and Hillary Clinton or, you know, all types of crap. So I just wanted to bring you this update to let you know they are not playing. And Mark Kelly will be held accountable. If they could have got them all, they would have. But 1 out of 6, we'll take it and see what's happening with it. So I want to know what you think about it. If you've watched it up to this point, leave a comment. I also want to thank you from the top and bottom of my heart for watching the video. I really do appreciate you. If you haven't already, hit that like button. And if you aren't subscribed, subscribe. Most importantly, remember to make sure that you stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.